So, nandito na tayo ulit ngayon sa ating social work 201 or the Philippine Social Realities and Social Welfare. We are already in our week 4. I think this is our last topic. Mag-midterm na tayo actually sa inyo next week. So, study right now. So we are now in our population problems. So, gaano ba ka-related yung social welfare, social work sa population, especially population problems? Of course, education dyan, as a social worker, we survey, we take down notes of the population because we want to know. Numbers don't lie, and population is indeed a number, and that don't lie. Diyan natin makikita yung problems natin, and although makita natin dyan yung problems natin, we can create a solution there so that we can create a social welfare, social worker. So, we have here population problems. So, population problems are numerous. Ang dami. Are numerous and have far-reaching effects. Okay, example lang, sa isang family. Kung malaki yung pamilya, kung mahirap, mahirap pa, more and more. Kasi magiging culture poverty yan. Wherein kung maraming pamilya, mayaman naman, ang daming magmamana, mas yayaman pa siguro. Indeed, oftentimes kasi, and I read an article in the net, it was indeed more than half of our population of the Philippines are indeed having related in population problems, maybe because in poverty. So, by the way, so age and sex factors or differential birth and death rates, the composition of distribution of population, growth and decline of particular groups, social stratification, division, migration, social mobility, and other characteristics, changes of population have bearing on various kinds of social problems. And all of this, dito lang sa growth, population, division, social mobility, have and do have bearing or relation in population problems. So first, let's define what is demography. So demography is the statistical analysis and description of population. So it indeed, sa isang population kasi hindi mo masasabi na yan yung population, hindi siya demographic. Okay? Example, isang pamilya lang, hindi yan demography. Okay? Description of population aggregates with reference to distribution of vital statistics, sex, age, and related factors. This field requires competence on mathematics. Of course, kaya nga stat talaga ang nagko-compute dito. So that attempt is made in this book to teach formal demography. The intent there is analyze some current populations problems such as large family size and its effects, urban migration, poor housing and slum, and all problems. Example, dito sa family size. So, since alam na natin yung population natin, there are surveys that says, especially in relation to poor piece, may kuan doon, data doon na, in terms of population and demography, in terms of family size, ito daw na budget ang kailangan ng isang pamilya. It is in the context of social work, ha? Ito daw na budget ang kailangan ng pamilya para makaahon sa araw-araw. Given na dyan, no, yung population in a demography, kaya naging specific na sa size. So, gano'n ka-importante to? So, population characteristics, composition, and trends. So, the population of the Philippines has grown rapidly. So, ilan na ba tayo ngayon? 100 million na ba? Dati, ang liit pa lang natin. So, in 1980, the Philippines registered a total population of 48 million. 48 million with a total land area of 300,000 square kilometers. The population density or the number of persons per square kilometer of the island. Yan yung population density of the country has therefore increased very much. So, the Filipinos are projected to count 70 million by 2020. So, ngayon, almost 100 na tayo. More than pala. And additional to 4 million to the present population, which is 71 million. So, based on 2.3% growth, the agency estimated that in the year 2000, Filipino male will number 38 million, almost 38 million, and the females will number 37 million plus. Using the median assumption of state, the agency projected the national population to stand at 69.9 million by 2000. So, which is just 3 years. So, yan yung growth nila every 3 years. So, ang laki ng tinaas estimate gives 75 million figure. So, the Population Commission demographic experts assessment resulted in the warning that only 70 million people can be decently supported by the country's national resources in terms of self-sufficiency in food and other basic needs. It is gratifying to note that Filipinos have made some progress in scaling down the annual rate of growth to 2.3% from 3.1% in 1960s. The high growth rate potential, however, remains. Okay? Or it's have or highlights population problems. Here's our demographic profile. So, the latest data, ano yung demographic profile natin ngayon? The latest data gathered from NSO, revealed or National Statistics Office, parang PSA na yata ngayon yan, Philippine Statistics Authority, revealed the following demographic profile. So, in general, the Philippine population continues to be dominated by males. However, among the population 10 years old and over, the females comprise of 50.8% in 1970s and 50.1% in 1990s. Okay, women outlived the men by about 4 years. Okay, they outlived male by 4 years. As of 1995, finding shows that the life expectancy at birth of male is 64 and the female is 70. So, okay, ito yung dyan, hard facts talaga. Kasi nga, mostly kasi sa lalaki, compared sa babae, life expectancy or yung ina-expect natin na buhay, okay, isang tao, bakit mas mataas mabuhay yung mga babae? Kasi nga, mostly sa mga lalaki, bisyoso, do have bad habits, and sa mga babae, wala masyado. Women in mid-60s were having 6 children on the average compared to the 4 in the mid-80s. Legitimate births are on the rise, so tumaas yung legitimate births. So, alam mo itong mga legitimate births, kami na ng legitimate children. So, nabuntisan yung babae, hindi pinanagutan, o so, meron ng anak, walang marriage, kaya illegitimate yung bata, or hindi dineclare yung bata, legitimate births, from 3% the total live births in 1970s to an estimate 90, tumaas siya. Total live births in the 90s. Okay. So, to singulate mean age of average for women and men were 20.3. Ito yung kalagitnaan ng edad, mean, age 26.3, respectively in 1990. The marriage rate has been going down. So, ito na yun. Kaya nga marami tayong illegitimate births. Yun yung sinabi ko kasi nga, yung marriage rate nagbaba. Kaya maraming bata yung legitimate child. From 7.3 marriages per thousand in 1980 to 6.6. Okay. Siguro kaya dumami yung population, ang dami na nagpapakasal, medyo tiring sa mga nagkakasal, kaya medyo mahal na. Kaya kasi tumaas yung demand eh. Okay? So siguro di ba, alam natin yan na mahal magpakasal. The median age of bride has risen from 22 in 1980 to 23 in 1990. So it has risen. Take note of this. The median age has risen from 22 to 23. Similarly, the median age of grooms is now 26 compared to 24 in 19. So ito yung mga typical edad pala sa mga nagpapakasal. Okay? 26 compared sa 24.1 sa 1980. Diba? Ngayon, mostly, mas bata pa nga ito, 23, 24, nagpapakasal na. Solo nga hindi minor de edad. So, totoo, diba? Noon, 1980s, sa unang panahon, nagpapakasal talaga, bata pa, 24 pa lang. Ngayon, 26 na, medyo tumanda na. And ngayon talaga, no, open times talaga, no, may mga nagpapakasal ngayon, hindi lang basta matanda, binas mga bata na nagpapakasal na. So, by population size, the Philippines ranked 9th in Asia and 13th and largest in the world. This is from the United Nations World Population Prospects 1990s to meet medium variance. Ito yung table niya. So, ito yung table niya 1985. Ito yung China, ito yung population niya, 1 million. Up to 2,000, naging 1,200,000. Yung Philippines dito, 9th daw, sabi. 9th ba? 25th pala. Ito pa. The 25th most populous rank by size medium. So, sila yon. 17 pala. We are in the 17th place. Before, that was on this case. So, ang dami natin. Populous countries tayo. So, first talaga China, India, USSR or Russia, US naman, Indonesia. 17th place yung Philippines. And also, growth pattern of Philippine population, ito yung growth pattern niya. By millions na po yung counting dito. Million, 20 million, 40 million. Here, ito yung year. By year 1960s, ito pa yun. Pattern growth, 3. Base in section to abot siya ng 20 million plus. And by year 2000, umabot siya ng almost 80 million yung tao dito sa Philippines. Table 2, population projections of the Philippines by region provinces. Ito yung population growth natin. So, ang taas talaga ng population, mataas talaga is, of course, the NCR National Capital Region. Yun yung pinaka-crowded. Siguro dahil capital region siya, ang daming business dyan, opportunities, dyan yung naglalagi yung mga tao. So, medyo klaro naman siguro, Nueva Ecija yata to, medyo maliit siya. Cagayan Valley, second sa bracket siya, ang third niya ay, ano to? So, also ito yung fourth. Fourth niya is Southern Tagalog. Ang fifth is Bicol Region. Sixth is Western Visayas. Next is Central Visayas, Eastern Visayas, Western Mindanao. Kasali dyan yung Tawi-Tawi, Sulu, Basilan, Zamboanga del Norte. Of course, 10th is Northern Mindanao, Agusan del Norte. And of course, population projection for the Philippines by region and province. We have here Southern Mindanao, 11th, and 12th niya, way back siya, 1991 up to 2000 na data. Projected population of the Philippines by age group and sex. Ito by age group na naman to. So ito yung by age group natin ay yung pinakamadaming age. So sabi dito 0 to 4. No, 0 to 4 talaga mga bata. Ito yung both scores niya. Ito yung total. So bata, madami rin. So 10 to 14, madami din. So 90 plus, ito yung mga later life na may katandaan na. So maliit na lang. Maliit yung data. Matanda na. So population projection, the total number of families in the country in 1985 was placed 9.56 million, one of the half times bigger than number reported in 1971 million, and more than twice figure 24 years before in 1961 at 4.426. Here's our population projection. So by sex or gender, both sexes, ito yung number. So ano yung marami 1980s? Mas marami yung male. Up to 1981, mas medyo marami pa rin yung male. Umabot na 1982, marami na yung female. Ay male pa rin. Wala. So hanggang umabot, marami pa rin yung male. Hanggang 2000. Ewan ko na ngayon kung ano yung mas marami. So, tignan natin kung may mga parts ba dito na marami yung female. So, itong part na to, 1999. So, 37 million dito yung male, 100,000, 70,000. Dito, mataas yung females. And meron pang ibang numbers din dito. So, population projection ng 1980 to 2000, the total number of families in the country in 1985 was placed. So, parang na-audit siya, page 37 yata. So, let's move on to our first page 38. So, in 1980, the Philippine population was pegged at 48 million with the annual growth rate of 2.2%. So, nag-grow siya almost 2% every year. Then, in 1990, the census of population and housing registered total population in terms of mga bahay. So, ito yung 60 million, which recorded as 2.35%. So ito yun. Annual growth lowered by 0.36% from the 1980 level. Given this growth rate, the population is expected to double its size in a span of 29 years. So, causes of rapid population growth. So, since may population growth tayo, ano ba yung naging resulta ng population growth natin? We have three factors that affects population. These are infertility, mortality, and migration. O, ito yun, fertility. So, kaya lumalaki yung population. It's because fertile yung mga tao, nag-multiply. Mortality rate, migration, nag-migrate, babawasan, bumabalik na naman, naaada naman. In the Philippines, one may ask himself, what causes of the population growth are the answers. Sustained fertility. So, certain Filipinos' customs, traditions, and beliefs contribute to high population growth rate. Having a large family is a tradition. So, ito talaga tayo eh. Familism tayo, personalism. Ang dami nating pamilya, close tayo. Kaya, siguro, okay sa akin ang daming anak. Parents derive satisfaction from having many children. Will perpetuate their name and support them at old age. So, wow, ang cute naman ng bata, ganun. So, ganyan yung pag-iisip, no? Na-blessing yung bata. But may kalakip niya responsibility and, of course, poverty. Kaya, di ba, magasto yung bata. Few people are motivated to limit their family size. The availability of a number of safe, expensive, and effective contraceptives has not a noticeable restraining influence. So, hindi medyo pinapansin. Early marriage, teenage pregnancies. So, there is lack of control on the part of the man, especially, and so, kaya nga walang self-control eh. Nagkakaanak bigla, natitempt sa kagandahan ng asawa. Natitempt kagad gusto magkaanak. Ano ba to? Kahit walang pera, walang income. So, the permissive atmosphere which is conducive to premarital sexual relationships. So, ito yung premarital, hindi pa kasal. Kasi nga, ito yung sustained infertility. Next is decline in mortality due to the following. Advance in science and technology, intensified nutritional diet, sanitation. So, ito na yun, nag-decline yung mortality. It's because we have the advance in technology, may mga gamot na, mayroon natin nutrition and sanitation. Kasi before, wala to, maraming sakit yung mga tao na mamatay, taas yung mortality rate. So, introduction of artificial well and improved ways to sewage waste. So, immigration, how immigration affects, this means the influx of foreign of our country, nag-immigrate yung mga tao. Okay, implication of an overpopulated world. So, ano yung implication pag sobrang dami na natin? So, the serious implication of an overpopulated world are obvious. Obvious naman, di ba? Kulang ng pagkain, marami nang naghihirap, nadi-divide na yung resources, nagkakameron na tayo ng social stratification, global stratification, ng poverty. Present condition already required more jobs, kailangan na maraming trabaho, housing, pero mostly kasi wala nang trabaho ngayon kasi nga machines na yung nagtatrabaho ngayon na era. Kaya nga yung mga tao, yung mga trabaho lang, unless pa-educated yung isang tao. Housing, facilities, food, education, health, and other services enough to supply the basic needs of man. So, kailangan na talaga maging enough na to, pero mostly kulang talaga. Open times nga sa trabaho, under employment pa, yung pinag-aralan ng isang tao, hindi angkop sa pinagtrabahuan niya. More people would mean an even greater demand of these basic necessities, and this is particularly true for developing countries. Yung developing countries, sila yung mga countries na underdeveloped pa. Okay? Or unindustrialized na mga country. Kaya nga developing, hindi pa talaga sila developed or industrialized na country. Developing pa lang. And we are part of that. In an overpopulated society, new visible signs of progress are quickly overtaken the massive problems, and a few advantages are rapidly obsessed by disadvantages. All the accompanying effects of increase of population would give our government or people as a whole pressing problem. So, more importantly talaga, yung pag-rise ng population, it's not more on positive talaga. It has done more harm than good sa mundo. The health problems, with too many people, will be incurring health problems. So, kaya nga maraming, example sa COVID natin, ang daming population, kami ng distancing. Nagkakameron ng transmission kaga, ang dali ng transmission kasi maraming tao. There will be a need for an annual increase of almost 3 million of course, we have housing problems. Nagkakamahal na yung bahay kasi nga nagkakamahal na yung lupa. Food problems. So, kulang yung food. Yung ibang nation, nag-aangkat pa ng pagkain. Problem of education. So, yun ang mga napapaboran na countries, yung may technology and other population, wala na. Problem of unemployment. So, sabi ko nga kanina, wala nang halos trabaho. Yung iba nga, may pinag-aralan naman, iba namang trabaho na pasukan. So, family size and neglecting children. So, too many advocates of birth control. So ano ba talaga yung family size dapat? Kasi kung hindi mo makontrol yung family size mo, baka, ito kasi yun pag maraming pamilya at mahirap naman, nagkameron ng neglected children. That's why it is indeed relatable na hindi siya mahiwalay. Kasi kung maraming pamilya at mahirap yung isang country, no, baka maiwanan yung mga bata, hindi masustentuhan. Okay, too many advocates of birth control, its greatest promise is that it may someday end as one of the world's widespread tragedies. The sad plight of millions of neglected children who are denied first start of life. So ito na yun. Kaya nagkameron ng neglected children because walang plano sa family size. Kaya nga we have family planning na talaga para maiwasan na talaga itong neglect ng bata. Many such children are born unwanted. So, totoo ba ito? Ang sakit naman pakinggan ito na unwanted pag born ng bata. Hindi kasi prepared We already have more than they know to care of. So, what usually follows when families are big? So, big. So, ito yung mangyayari kung big families spend more money. So, totoo naman. Malaking pamilya, malaking pera ang gagastuin. Big families tend to overwork the father and the mother. So, pag malaking pamilya, kawawa si mother, saka si father, kailangan magpursige yung pamilya. Big families need more space. Kailangan naman malaking bahay. Big families need more mouths to feed. Kailangan pakainin marami. Big families tend to have more dropouts in school. Kaya nga, napapag-iwanan niya. So, di ba, may iba nga, pag malaki yung pamilya, may mga times na anak, pwede bang mag-stop ka muna sa school? Unahin mo natin yung ate mo. So, ganun yung nangyayari. Some neglected children, though they are wanted, are simply victims of hopeless poverty. May mga times naman na gusto naman, pero wala talaga sa plano. So, ito na nangyayari, usually follows ang laki ng pamilya, hindi napapakain yung bata, ang laki ng pamilya, yung iba lang napapaboran, so ang laki ng pamilya, kaya kumayod si mother sa kasi father, nagtataho pa, naglalabas si mother, walang bahay, so, sad life talaga. So, in addition to this, other handicaps naman, the neglected child and having a problem child, many studies have shown that he is likely to have trouble getting. So, ito yung pag mga napag-iwanan trouble getting with others outside. So, ito yung mga neglected child, yung mga na-dropouts, walang magawa sa buhay, nagiging tambay. Sila yung more na nagkakagawa ng trouble sa society. Outside the home, he craves attention. He failed to get inside. He is likely to be demanding, aggressive, and fighter. Ito yung mga tambay siguro natin. It is usually the neglected child, the poor who form the big city street. Ito na yung mga gang, become juvenile delinquents. Connected na yun dyan sa population problems natin. Ang daming connection problems at open and early age, end up detention homes. In social work, ito talaga yung mga juvenile delinquents, mga CICL, children in conflict with the laws, sa preso, sa prison cells, may mga nagkakabata ngayong nagkaka-commit ng crimes. Ngayon, at birth, they were very much likely other children, except that they were unwanted by their parents. According to report, reproduction and publication at the University of Santo Tomas College Medicine, the number of children in family is closely tied up with such factors of morbidity. Okay? Death rates, ito na yung nangyayari, maturation, mental function, mental health. So ito talaga dapat yung number ng children family, dapat talaga dito, related siya dito. So, kung marami, baka may mga times na hindi nakakapagdamot sa ospital, namamatay, yung growth ng bata nahihinder, yung maturation ng bata, hindi napapakain, dapat mature siya, ito na yung katawan niya, hindi siya ng kamerang nutrition. Morbidity. This is a study of frequency of diseases and illness in the population. The size of the family is closely tied up with an economic limitation. So, kasi nga, pag may sakit yung pamilya, hindi mo may pagamot, nagkakasakit, lumalala. So, death rates, mortality. So, Mortality in the first 2 years also increase with parity, o with birth, live birth, and family size. So, oftentimes, talaga, pag may mga times na malaki na yung pamilya, may mga times nga, hindi nakakapunta yung mother na buntis sa hospital para magpaanak, may mga death rates talaga kasi nga, mura, dun sa mura, walang pera, walang sustento, umaasa na lang sa mga albularyo, sila yung nagpapaanak dyan, hindi talaga sa hospital. It's because of population problems kasi walang gamot. Okay, so also growth and maturation. Extensive studies done in England indicates slower rates of growth in children from large families. So ito talaga, no, hindi grow, no, hindi pandak or hindi yung katawan niya hindi matured, payat. No, so malaki yung probability pala in study of England na yung may mga large family size is more on rates lower growths sa kanila. Mental function. Many studies have shown naman that children of large families scored significantly lower in IQ test. So, kasi mental function, walang mapakain, walang nutrition, walang enough nutrition yung bata, more probability na hindi nakakalearn yung bata kasi walang nutrition. But this is not a discrimination po kasi may mga mahirap talaga na nag-excel na nagpursige. But there is a research lang. And of course, parental health naman, this is also related to the number of children in the family. Peptic ulcer in men has supported correlation with number of children. So, nagka-ulcer yung isang bata kasi walang makain eh. While as far as women are concerned, the study showed incidence of rheumatic arthritis with increased number of offspring. So, yun nga, nagkakarayuma and maraming offspring sa kasi di ba pag rayuma, maraming anak, related siya sa number of offspring. Of course, urban immigration for housing slums. Kaya pag ang daming population, wala nang opportunity sa Philippines, nagma-migrate na lang, pumunta ng ibang bansa for housing. Nagmamahal na yung mga bahay, yung lupa, nagmamahal. Yung slums na lang, umaasa sa slums, tumitira sa mga stero. So, of course, in mobility and transiency, an important trend in migration, the Philippines has been the acceleration of movement from people to rural to urban. So, itong rural to medyo sa mga bukid to urban para maghanap ng opportunities. Kasi walang trabaho talaga sa bukid. Plamera state that persons who migrate to cities from the relatively simple rural urban experience shocks similar to those experienced by those who move from the country to another. So, nagkakamayroon ng migration problems na to. So, of course, we have here internal migration. So, ano itong internal migration? Migration within the country lang. So, from other cities sa country mo to isang city na naman. So, iba din yung external migration sa labas talaga. Pumunta ka ng labas ng bansa. Of course, slums and housing problems. Slums are usually regarded as areas in which dwelling or other buildings are dilapidated. So, dilapidated talaga. Medyo sako na lang, hindi konkreto, butas-butas. Obsolescence for arranged la properly ventilation and light and sanitary and helpful and other ways detrimental. In safety, kasi butas-butas ang dali lang pasukin ng magnanakaw. Comfort, hindi komportable such as areas are usually overcrowded and sanitary, generally desirable places to raise children. So slums may be overcrowded with buildings or the building overcrowded with people or both. Yung meaning ng slums. So, poor slum housing is invariably associated with poor amenities and community services, of course. The physical conditions are only part of slums. The slums has a culture of its own, and this culture is a way of life. So, mga times lagi yung slums, dito na kami, kultura na namin to eh. So, nagiging ganun na. So, measures of population control. So, all the preceding problems are now being faced not only by our country but also to the whole world due to population explosion. The only way to resolve this is by reducing the annual rate of growth population. So, paano natin i-reduce? Family planning. Okay? One way of reducing the rate of population growth is by conscious control of reproduction. So, family planning. Population control is the control of rate. Ito yung population control is the control of rate of population growth maybe annually. Kaya talaga makontrol yung population natin kasi hindi lumalaki yung mundo natin, yung place natin, yung population natin lumalaki. It encompasses not only fertility and mortality for the country as a whole, but also control of migration for any regions of the country. So, ito yung, kaya nagkakameron kasi ng explosion population, no reproduction, kasi because of migration din pala. Example, migrate doon, nagkapag-asawa doon, madami sila, migrate na naman, migration doon, nakita ng partner. Population planning activities, both private and public agencies are now actively engaged in population planning activities. Population program in the country, including large-scale family planning activities, has been practiced by several couples during early decades, but it is not widely used. As years passed by, it became a concern of some government organization because of the several rapid explosion of. So, nagkakamera ng family planning. This is a two-way proposition. It is not simply a way to regulate and spacing birth of children, but it also helps childless couple to find out cause of their inability to. Example, family planning. Part kasi ng family planning is adoption. Pinapa-adopt yung mga bata. Okay? So, ganon. May mga programs na ganon. So, President Aquino, however, directed the Commission on Population on March to respect freedom of choice couple. So, depende pa rin yan. Hindi talaga siya mandatory yung family planning, gumagamit ng contraceptive. Social Welfare Secretary Mita Pardo de Vera, in her speech before Philippine Federation National Family Planning's National Consultation Workshop, said that population policy must be improved to conform to the National Constitution, which recognizes the need for responsible parenthood. So, although there is respect naman sa pag-deliver ng family planning, pero nakalagay kasi Constitution dapat magkameron ng responsible parenthood. And you are not responsible parent talaga if magdadami ka ng pamilya at hindi mo naman control. She cited that the needs for population welfare policy that would stress on education and measure the uplift quality of life. She pointed out the family size would eventually decrease the people become more educated. So, pag malaki pa lang yung pamilya, there is indeed a decrease na maging educated yung isang bata. Kasi nga, malaki yung pamilya, anak, hindi ka muna mag-aaral ngayon, punahin din yung ating mga show. So, ganon. So, hindi dito din, may mga other countries na rin po na controlled sila talaga, by law talaga na dapat, ito lang yung ianak nila. Okay po, so, dapat mayroon 3-child policy, 2-child policy in other countries, in China and in Japan. So, also we have here population policy. The government population policy is being down annual growth to 2% below before the start of the next century. Population policy of the Philippines have been formulated to improve the quality of population para ma-improve yung population. So, here's the summary of that. So wala na pala. So, thank you for that. And I hope you learned something that as a social worker talaga, we count population, we survey population. Dapat talaga natin malaman yung concept nito. Maybe we are dealing poverty. Kasi one of the reasons ng malaking population because of poverty, resulta din to. And we can know na in our clients natin someday na uy ate, hindi mo nasusundan yung anak mo. And yung titignan natin dyan, malaki ba yung size nila? Ano i-compute natin dyan, may computation kasi dyan, ito yung size, hindi mo pala kaya to ate. So, ganito, ganyan. So, alam na natin, by just learning population, no, alam na natin ano yung problem ng client natin by just knowing this concept of population problem in our social work 211. So, I hope you learned something. Can you just read the summary? Okay.